And welcome to FanPark Live. England have been held to a 1-1 draw by Italy, courtesy of a very dubious VAR awarded penalty. We are going to debate that. We're going to go through that first half display. Of course, I'm joined again by Claude from Arsenal Fan TV and Louis from 100% Chelsea. We're going to go through that for about half an hour or so, and then we're going to move on to a brand new segment for FanPark Live, which is called In My Opinion, where we're going to be debating a little bit of Zinedine Zidane and Platini. Yeah, I need to call him Pellini, and then I was like, I completely forgot his name. Anyway, please, before we continue, please download the OneFootball app. The information is in the description below. And make sure you download the Ultimate Football Fan app as well, where you can see all our lovely looking mugs and boat races on there on a day-to-day basis, talking football and all that shenanigans. But we'll jump straight into it before we take your calls on 0203 606 0315. Start with you this time round, Louis. Mm-hmm. England held there in the end. What was your thoughts on that overall performance from the Three Lions tonight?
See, we were having this debate earlier on, saying I thought England played a lot more expansively, but again, I'm going to rein it in a bit by saying it is a friendly. I think England did play well tonight.
Yep.
I think we were in the final third as well. We were good. I do think some of the decision making in the final third, however, in some occasions could have been better. I feel like the players could have released the ball a bit earlier. I thought Ashley Young was superb tonight, absolutely superb. But overall, I think it's the results of fair reflection of the game.
Was it a penalty? I know were you happy with the VAR award of a penalty? Did you think that was fair?
Well, VAR, I think, is a fair system. I think it still needs to develop. Put it this way, football could learn a lot from rugby. I think, for example, where their referees mics up so we know what's going on, I think that's a big deal. I think, for example, that should be done because then we can understand what's going on with the VAR decision making rather than sitting there going, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I think even looking at it when they gave the VAR, I still wouldn't have given that as a penalty. He won the ball first. I understand that there was some contact, but it was minimal. If the ball was won first as well, it's not a penalty in my opinion. Cool. I think that's the basic premise of football. However, if the referee's given it, VAR's given it, it's done now. And from
your point of view, Claude, you said before the game you find international friendlies very difficult, but were you impressed?
I thought that was an enjoyable game actually.
We are getting requests for you to talk to the camera because we know Claude turns his back. Come a little closer, Claude. Talk to your peoples.
I thought it was quite an entertaining game. I thought the Italians came back into it in the second half. I thought Insigne took control of the game. I thought it was brilliant second half. Insigne, wasn't he? Absolutely brilliant. And they got a penalty. They got the penalty. Whether it was a penalty or not is debatable. I think you have to be clear cut. I thought to say it was a penalty. It didn't look clear cut to me. But we're going to get this with this VAR. We're going to get a lot of disputes about it. But I thought Italy deserved the draw in the end. I thought they played very well in the second half.
And I would agree with that. We've got first caller of the night. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Vingla.
Hello, Vingla. Who do you support?
Hello, I support Arsenal.
Okay, mate. And what would you like to say this evening?
I would just like to say that Wenger is a very top-class manager, and I believe he should be extended contract for this summer.
Yeah, give him 10 more years, yeah? Shall we give him 10 years, shall we? 10 years, 20 years? How many more years do you want to give him, mate? How many more years?
65 years, please.
10 more years?
65.
10?
65.
Yeah, no, so give him 10 years, 20 years, what? No.
Just 2 more years.
Shall we carry him out of the stadium in the coffin as well? Listen, mate.
Bury him under the centre circle.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. I mean, it's not a night to talk about. What did you think of the England game? Did you watch the England game tonight?
Unfortunately, I support France, not England, and I believe England is a very terrible team.
Okay, but I've got
Sorry,
a question.
what team you support? Sorry?
France.
Right, Claude, let me ask you. Mate, you're saying you're French, yeah? Are you French?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, okay. So
I believe I am.
Okay, so what do you think of France's chances at the World Cup this year then? Do you think you should win it with the depth you have in that squad?
No, I don't believe we are going to win it, but I believe Germany will win the World Cup this year, hopefully.
Okay.
Do you see, so what's wrong with the England national team in your opinion?
England, I I believe they do not play well together. You can see the rivalry between Arsenal, Tottenham, or they just don't connect well together like the German team.
I disagree. I thought there was some encouraging signs tonight.
Tonight is just tonight, but previous England, come on, let's not even talk about Iceland.
I agree, but I thought it was encouraging. What I like about this England team, though, what I like about he's prepared to give this boy Cook, is it Lewis Cook? He gives him a chance. Yeah. I don't think previous managers would have done that. No. You know what I mean? And he doesn't care about what the media think. He does his own thing.
Favourite thing about Gareth Southgate, what I like, mainly drinks water during the week, but he has a few beers at the weekend with the lads. So, yeah.
Oh, well,
there we go.
I don't know about that, but I'm sorry. I know your feelings about Wenger, but I think you're a bit. Do you know Ty? Then are you a friend of Ty's?
I know Ty, but he's like, I like that guy, but sometimes he's a bit rubbish talking, because when we lose, sometimes you have to accept, but it's complicated. You understand?
Yeah. I'll send him your regards anyway when I see him.
Mate, thank you very, very much for your call. Cheers.
How many Arsenal fans are going to get called in trying to get called tonight?
We're supposed to be talking about international friends.
We are talking about that. Comment here from Majib Ahmed, who says VAR needs a big improvement, and I think VAR is worth talking about because of what happened in that game.
I dispute about that VAR, right? Surely that when he went to the he's got to be convinced that it is a penalty. You can't tell me that was convincing.
And this is the point.
And he's seen it again.
So many decisions. And look, again, it's subjective because some people are saying, well, he trod on his foot. It's definitely a penalty. Others, like yourself, Louis, are saying, well, he won the ball first. I actually wasn't even looking at the ball being... I actually was looking at Ashley Young making contact from behind. That's what I saw as more contact, as an example. The issue with it is that a lot of the decisions, whether it's in tonight's international game or it's been in the FA Cup, I've looked at it and gone... it's offside by an inch, or there was minimal contact. And I can't help but think that the definition that sold the idea to me, when I thought video refereeing is a good idea, is when they said clear and obvious mistakes. And for me, a clear and obvious mistake is Raheem Sterling beats a defender, the defender takes him out, and it's not given. Someone in the box goes, I think you might have missed a really obvious one. Or a handball off the line, not seen by the referee, clear and obvious that it could have happened. No, when there's minimal contact or it's just offside.
Again, this could be considered a clear and obvious mistake because it goes for a corner when it should have been a penalty. Do you know what I mean?
No, but it's the decision's clear and obvious. And for me, when it takes super slow-mo and 3 or 4 angles, it can't be clear. It's clear and obvious if a goal's given us on offside, But we can see by just looking at it in a second that the guy was 3 or 4 yards onside. My point is, when it's minimal or it's so subjective, it takes away from the referee that's meant to be in charge of the game. And that's not. I didn't think that was the point of it.
Yeah. What about if that was a World Cup semi-final, man? That's a big decision. Because this is only a friendly match.
Exactly.
But this is a big decision. And another thing is, we're now having VARs for rolling ball. If we carry on like that, we won't. The matches will finish after matches.
What starts to happen, and they act as if it's some. Yeah, no, I agree. And I feel, is that what happens a lot of the time. There's meant to be a match. We'll do the call. We'll come back to this. Yeah. Hello and welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hiya, Scott.
Hello, Scott. Who do you support, brother?
Arsenal.
Arsenal, and in England, or what nationality? What country? Sorry, do you support?
Oh, England.
Good. What was your views on tonight's game? The VAR decision? Where's your stance on all of that?
It wasn't a great start, was it? Italy could have had 2 goals in the first 5-10 minutes. So, weren't fantastic. But then Vardy came in. He scored a decent goal. The free kick was taken pretty quick. And they've done a good job on that. I wanted to tell you about the VAR decision. I thought that was totally wrong. It should be a bleeding penalty.
No, I agree. I agree with that completely.
Tell you the truth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, with VAR, what frustrates me is that the goal line technology, it's either it did or it didn't cross the line.
Yeah.
The problem with VAR is where it's frustrating for fans. I don't know if you agree with this, mate. Is that some of these decisions, even after we've looked at the video replays, for me I still think it's inconclusive in my opinion. And when it goes gets reversed against you. Sometimes in football you get away with some, sometimes you win some. But this is really frustrating because it's like you'll have a goal go in and then they disallow it and it shouldn't be. Happened to Spurs in the FA Cup recently. Or you get a penalty tonight where we get the benefit of the doubt. Referee re-looks at it and then he just changes his mind. But it's not something that's clear and obvious like a ball crossing a line. I'm just not sold on the idea. And as Claude said, theoretically you could have a game that takes an extra 45 minutes because you could have 10 of these decisions in a game.
This game's been over 100 years old, man. Over 150 years old, this game. We've survived without it before. I think we can survive without it.
Yeah, I agree with Claude, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, mate. I just don't agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
even that decision, mate. That decision.
Yeah.
He's actually gone to the screen and looked at it. And don't tell me he's got that. He can see that as a clear cut.
I didn't think the referee was meant to do that. I thought the idea is a guy sitting in a van somewhere tells the referee it was or it wasn't. Not the referee, because this is what happens: is you go and check it yourself, and then you start to question yourself. And we saw that happen when Liverpool played West Brom. The referee was checking it himself. Again, I remember reading the ideas. I've listened to what many referees that are involved in this have said on radio and TV. And the idea is a man sitting in a studio somewhere, he checks it, rings through to the ref and says, "You've made a mistake, we've already checked it," and they change the decision. I didn't think the referee was meant to relook at it.
It's not for me.
Otherwise, I don't. It doesn't. That means
that is the idea. What you're saying, that should be what it is. I think
so. The referee shouldn't have even gone and looked at the monitors.
I mean, we're having VARs on rolling balls now. I mean, that's ridiculous.
No, it is crazy. Just going back to the game a minute, mate. Who impressed you though? There've been 2 England friendlies. I think we've done okay overall. Yeah. I mean, who's impressed you? Who stood out to you as someone that you think now?
Jesse Lingard really. He scored the goal against the Netherlands in the assist he had tonight. So.
I thought Ashley Young had a good game as well.
Ashley Young was impressive. I thought Jamie Vardy looked decent tonight as well.
I thought Tarkowski was good for his first England game, other than the penalty, which obviously is debatable.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be important not to. What's the word I'm looking for here? He's giving a penalty away in his first game. Let's not chastise him with that because I know you're not, but I think
I'm going to say one thing though: referees just make his own decisions, and we should only need the referees. One person on the pitch, you only should need him. Why we want video assisted rubbish on? Do you know what I mean?
But the times where video assisted,
it's not necessary.
The times and the other sports where video assisted.
I'm not a fan of it.
The times where video assistant refereeing's worked in other sports, where it's obviously taken time to develop, where it has worked in football, for example, there has been offsides and goals been given when there weren't offside. You know, there is time for it to develop. Are you saying just completely bin it off, or do you not think there is time and space for it to just sort of?
Football's a different game. Football's a moving game.
So is rugby.
Yeah, but rugby, there's a lot of stopping in
rugby.
And also in rugby, when rugby, the clock stops as well. It actually stops properly.
That's a big point there, Claude. Yeah,
you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all a waste of time. Look, we're 150 years without this nonsense. Why we're doing it now, I don't know.
But I don't like it in rugby or American football either. Because for me, tennis, it works perfect because it's clear cut. It was either in or it was out. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much there. You only use it for in and out. It's either in or exactly. With football, I don't even with rugby. In the Six Nations, England could have got 2 tries against Scotland as an example. That when you looked at it and went right down to the nth degree, they were probably right to reverse the decision. But for me, that's what I love about fast-paced sports. I almost love the little intricacy mistakes, not cheating, but mistakes that are made or little rubs of the green you get that create the debate. What I don't like is the debate that video refereeing's created feels like a manufactured false debate. It's like we're debating computers rather than the game. And we've all loved those games. Oh, we would have beaten you if the referee gave that decision right. We'd have beaten you if you didn't. But then again, that's going to go. I love that about football.
But the thing is, though, that football needs to develop.
Why?
Football needs to develop. It needs to move with times.
Why?
Because it just does.
Why though? No, it just does. Don't cut it. Why does it need to?
Also, you've got to also remember.
It did with goal line technology.
Remember,
but that works.
You've also got to remember on this as well. What about if that referee doesn't really want to admit he's made a mistake? He's gone to, he don't really want to admit he's made a mistake. Tonight he's changed it, but say on another occasion he doesn't want to admit he's made a mistake. Yeah, you can have that. You know that sort.
Well, you won't have that.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, because he's the one. He's the way he's making. Oh, come on! But if someone. He's a human being. He's going to be out there.
He's a
I
human
don't want to admit I've made a mistake.
No, but he doesn't. No, but with the rules of VAR, if he's made a mistake and look, you need to reverse that decision, then he has to.
Yeah, but
he has to.
He can go to the screen.
Yeah, he has to if someone's telling him. But tonight it was his decision.
Yeah, he made the decision.
So he could do it either
this
way.
Time he changed
The point
his mind,
is, if
sometimes he doesn't have to change his mind.
I think you're right, Claude. If there's going to be VAR, it has to be a neutral person in a room somewhere by themselves who radios through and says referee.
Well, that's what it is.
But it's not. That's not what he did tonight, though, and that's why it's frustrating.
Can you imagine you have Bully and Ty in the studio debating a decision? You'd be there all night, mate.
Exactly.
No, mate, this is what I mean. This is why I'm saying.
Sorry. Let's Caller wants to say. Sorry, mate. What do you want to say, mate? Go on.
No, I just think it should be totally binned off. I tell you,
I agree, mate. I agree. We've gone 150 years without.
You know what I mean? Over it all,
mate. Really do, mate. Your call. Mate, really do appreciate your call. Absolutely amazing point of views you brought up us tonight. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Look, this is what we pay. Yeah. These referees are paid a lot of money to make the right decisions. If they can't do the job, then they shouldn't be in the job.
Okay, so you're saying referees that make mistakes. So to argue against Terry's thing, which you're agreeing with as well, you're saying the little injuries and the little discrepancies and those mistakes which make football, you're saying don't have the referees that do that. So basically, you're saying it has to be pitch perfect. No, but that's what Claude's saying.
Okay, I didn't say that.
So I'm using because you agree. No, but you are Claude.
Well, I'm saying
you are Claude.
No, well, you're twisting what I'm saying.
I'm not twisting what you're saying. I'm taking it at face value.
I'm saying the referees are all right. They make mistakes, but they shouldn't be making those mistakes. I mean, I saw there was an incident had to go to VAR. That referee shouldn't have even needed. I can't remember what it was, but he shouldn't have. It was bang in front of him.
I don't understand it.
It was that Mike Dean one against West Brom.
The one where he went to the lino?
Eh?
The one where they went to Liverpool West Brom, where he went to linesman.
No, if you had a VAR, you wouldn't need a VAR. No, he should be able to make that decision without a VAR.
That wasn't even VAR in that game.
No, I didn't say it was VAR, but I'm just saying, say that went to VAR, right? He shouldn't need to go to VAR because he should be able to make that fucking.
What you got to say about that one, Louis?
What have I got to say? What have I got to say?
Answer back if you can.
Let me explain this. You let me finish and I'll do it. All right.
Go on, Lou. Go on, Lulu.
Don't call me Lulu. You're not shagging me. You can't say that. Listen, right. With VAR, I feel like it's something that it does need to be developed. I understand why people are saying that it's not good right now, but the reason that it's not good is because it's new. People didn't like goal line technology when it first came in.
No, everyone loved it.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they loved it.
I still had people debating it with me 6 months into when it was done.
Well, no, listen. I think for me, I can only talk about my viewpoint. Where I'm confused, I don't. Okay, let me rephrase what I'm saying. VAR won't be a bad thing when they stick to the definition and explain what the definition means to us. So explain to me what clear and obvious means. Because at the moment, that's just a statement that doesn't mean... For me, clear and obvious is when it's such an obvious mistake. Like when Liverpool conceded a goal because it hit a fucking balloon. I never swear on the show, and I did then. Sorry, that just slipped out. When it hit a balloon and went in the goal. That was a clear and obvious mistake that somebody sitting there in the van could go, listen, whoever the ref was, listen, mate, you've made an absolute mistake. Go back and reverse that. It hit a balloon. Clear and obvious. When it's offside by this much or onside by that much, or that he might have just breathed on his ear slightly and he falls over for a penalty. That isn't clear and obvious. However, if you want to redefine the clear and obvious and say, we will check... For me, the only way to make this work is to give every team 3 appeals in a game.
I think.
And then that way, the referee doesn't... No one stops the referee. The referee sticks to his decision unless the team says, we want that looked at. And that way, if you use up all 3, you're gone. That's the only way it works for me. Oh, that call went. If you want to ring back, I do apologise.
Survived without.
Of course, and that's
so. Why the whole point?
We'll do this call.
Players make mistakes. Referees make mistakes. It's football. That is football.
It's what we love about it.
And also,
I love it.
And also,
hello. Welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
My name is Samuel.
Hello, Samuel. Do you love football?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me, shout it loud. How much you love football? Tell me.
It's my favourite sport.
That's not shouting.
Shout it louder.
Football!
Football! Football! Listen, what do you want to say about tonight, my friend?
Oh yeah, I was listening to about you and Claude discussing about this VAR thing, and then I'm gonna have to agree with Louis here because
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Hey.
No, I'm joking. No, so what you got to say, mate? What you got to say?
So I think the problem is I think VAR. I think you're too negative about the position of VAR because I'm a friend from North. I'm not from Europe, and I have to agree. VR is a very, very new thing, and Claude said we have lived this for 150 years, but the problem is with times are moving on. I think.
But what moving on to what? We're not talking.
That's
We're
the
not
sad
talking.
thing.
Yeah, but what? Okay,
And
I understand. Can I ask you a question? I need to ask you a question. I get times are moving on. I get banking is becoming more and more digitalized. There's more omni-channel for aspects of that in your life. You can order food easier. I get technology is taking over so many aspects of our lives, and I love all of that. But explain to me how football's moving on and how football needs VAR in its current form. In its current form, why does it need it? Please tell me.
I think the problem. I do agree with you that VAR has a lot of problems. Like you said, like Claude said, it might ruin the atmosphere. But I think this is the most. No offense to Claude, but I think it's not a very good comment. But I think
Let me.
What did I say about atmosphere?
He's talking about like the 45-minute thing where it was just like right.
He's
now,
having a go at you, Claude.
He's having you.
He's having you. He's absolutely done you.
Claude, I love Claude, but not
Oh, here we go. So
No,
you're
no,
not
no,
He's done
no,
you,
no.
mate. He's
What do
done
you mean
you.
about
Have him.
atmosphere? What are you talking about atmosphere? I never
Claude,
mentioned
have him.
atmosphere.
No. It's like when for example, you scored and people are celebrating,
Yeah.
and then but when VAR suddenly cancel the goal, it suddenly said, that's the feeling of you get. Yeah, that's. I hear a lot of people say this.
I never mentioned that at all. I didn't mention.
Find it quite ridiculous.
Yeah, but I know what you. No, listen. We.
Calm down,
I
calm down.
I can't get over this. I mean, look. If the referee is there to do the job, yeah. Referees make mistakes. Players make
He's
mistakes.
done you, Claude.
Yeah?
He's done you.
He's
Yeah.
not done me. Not done me. No one does me. Not even Ty. Yeah, listen.
Yes.
The referee is there to do a job. He'll make mistakes. The players will make mistakes. Yeah.
Yep.
But we can't have this. Even tonight, right? That decision tonight. You can't tell me he's gone back to the screen. That's not a clear-cut decision, is it?
Yeah. I
And he's made two mistakes. He's made two
yeah,
mistakes there.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
So that VAR, did that help? Did that help tonight, VAR? Tell me. Did that help? Did that decision help?
Sorry, Claude. No offense, but I
No offense, just before he offends you. Sorry.
It's a trial. I think VAR is now in a trial process.
But you're trying it in real games, mate.
Yeah, but
this
Where else are you going to try it?
in pre-season friendlies, it don't matter.
Oh, so international friendlies matter.
No, but it's in the FA Cup.
It's a
It's
trial.
being used in the FA Cup. It's going to be in the FA Cup final. What happened in your team? Your team could be in the FA Cup final. And listen, your team Chelsea gets a penalty given against them or a goal given against them because someone has a difference of opinion from the referee based on a minimalistic decision in football. That is bang out of order because VAR's not ready to be used in real games. It's going to be at the World Cup, and it's
ridiculous.
and none of us can define it. None of us know if the referee's meant to look at the monitor or not.
Chaos.
It's going to be at the World Cup.
Total chaos.
It's nonsense.
It's total
How
chaos.
anyone can defend it as a football fan is beyond me.
We're talking. That was a good game.
Nah,
tonight.
mate.
That was a good game tonight, and it was spoiled. But we're talking about this.
Because of a computer.
Yeah, we're talking about this.
Why VAR needs time. You have to give it time.
No, yes, my
No, they have to get it right
my
first.
missus needed time, but I couldn't give her any time. But anyway, that's I know what you're saying. I know
Nah.
where you're coming. Listen, I understand where you're coming. You've got a right to an opinion, but my opinion is that it shouldn't be.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, a few people are asking in the comments, why do I have earphones in? It's so that I can hear the production team talking to me. We don't have fancy sort of like secret agent ear bits there. Look, I really do appreciate everyone who calls in, everyone who gives us their opinions. We're going to go to the OneFootball app because we are going to move on very, very shortly to the In My Opinion segment, which should be fun, where we're debating Zinedine
I don't want to
Zidane.
offend you, but he offends you.
Yeah.
I don't think it was right. I need you.
It's all right. We're gonna do
Stop
one.
copying me.
We're gonna do one football.
You can do one football.
We're gonna do the one.
My man of the match was Insigne. I wonder if did that come up? As
Well, we're
Jamie Vardy?
going to put the one football app on the screen now. I'm not sure.
Was Jamie Vardy man of the match because he scored for England?
Jamie Vardy has been voted as man of the match by England
Right,
fans.
I
We're going to take a look at that now.
Insigne
Jamie
was
Vardy,
how can
followed
you-
by Insignia.
Well, I think Insigne was the best.
Insigne,
Insigne
sorry.
was superb.
Immobile second, then Raheem Sterling, then Jesse Lingardinho was next. He should change his name for the World Cup, shouldn't he?
Lingardinho.
Do you know what? He's a troll. Like, you know, he does all these videos on
he's a troll.
how much would he wind up his haters if he literally went to Depot and changed his name to Jesse Lingardinho? He should do it.
Would you
shouldn't
not
he?
be slightly embarrassed by that?
No, no, because I know that he's doing it to troll people. A bit like, example being, right, this is how I learnt my age recently. I thought, you know the song Man Not Hot?
Yeah.
By, is it Big Shaq?
Yeah.
I thought Big Shaq was a real grime artist. I'm old, right? I'm 32. I had no idea who he was. And I thought that, I remember listening to the song going, this is awful. Then I found out he's a troll, he's a spoof, he's a joker. I downloaded the song I bought it 3 times. They paid that man lots of money. I was so impressed with what he was
You actually
doing.
bought it on iTunes?
Yeah.
Blimey, that really does show your age.
Yeah, no, because if you respect an artist, you pay them money. But the point is that I would love Jesse Lingard to do that because it would be trolling people, it would be winding people up, and it's brilliant. That's why. We're going to go through the app now anyway. I'm going to look at some of the stats from that game. Pretty even on possession. 48% of the ball to 51.8% of the ball to Italy throughout the course of that game.
Italy got more possession. Second half, they
Only just shaded though.
They
Just under 2% more. Just under 2% more.
They dominated second half.
In terms of that. Shots on goal though, still England 12, 6 on target. They had 9, 2 on target. I would say Italy had 2 or 3. I mean, they had a number of opportunities in that game to absolutely dominate. Yeah. But the shots blocked, both teams had 3 shots blocked each. If we look at defensively, they made more clearances, more interceptions, more tackles than we had to. So we certainly put them under pressure. But I think Louis' point is right.
A bit of bias though, giving Vardy the man of the match. There.
Well, that's voted for by fans.
Yeah, but
so,
I'm just trying to say.
Oh, look,
that's the point. Terry's saying I'm right. I want to have my ego boosted. Come on, why am I right?
You were right in the sense of England made a lot more opportunities, but when it came to actually either the final ball or our finishing, it was just a little bit too slow in possession, a little too... We could have put a few more of these opportunities away, I think. We had the opportunities to, we had the chances. Clearly, we created them statistically, that proves it. But we just allowed Italy to create too many clearances and too many interceptions.
Well, that says a lot about the team, though, doesn't it? If we don't have Harry Kane in the team, or someone who links up with them well in Dele Alli,
they were getting behind the back
then,
four,
you know...
Italy were getting a lot of...
And Italy were getting in, and I think that's part of what... You know, Italy, they're not on the World Cup, we know that, but Italy are still a very good team.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
and
yeah,
if they weren't in Spain's group, they would have gone to the World Cup.
If they didn't have Ventura as their manager, they would have gone to the World Cup.
Of course they would.
Yeah, it's a bit like when we had McLaren. We would have qualified for the Euros if we wouldn't have had McLaren as manager. You have these things.
And remember, they had Spain in their group as well.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest factor as well. One of the best teams of however many last few years is out there. Lots of people saying, yes, he should change his name to Lingardinho. Manav, who's putting a little super chat here, says, what do you think of Stones tonight, guys?
I thought
had a few dodgy moments.
He spent too much time with Pep Guardiola.
Too many dodgy moments for me.
Look at me, I'm going to play some fancy football. Oh, look at me, we're so good. Oh, look, you've lost the ball. Nearly gets the goal.
He's not been playing regularly for Man City, has he?
Well, no, he got injured, didn't he? So then he's not been in the team as
saying.
much. But I still think John Stones. He's still very young. He's a very good centre half.
So maybe that's why he's a bit because he hasn't played that much.
Yeah, well, we have this sort of conversation about centre halves, right? Centre halves aren't really the finished product until they hit that 27-28 bracket. He's what, early 20s, 24.
Yeah, he's young. He's a young man.
So
like...
he's still got a few years to develop.
No, I think centre halves peak at a later age than the normal.
I just think John Stones today, he's gone off injured as well. So I mean that's a big thing considering that's his second or third injury of the season, where he's had to come off the pitch or he's been laid off, potentially for a significant amount of time.
There's not that much cover, is there, in the centre half position for England?
There's a lot, but the cover's just not very good.
No,
I'm just saying there's not really real quality about it, is there?
No.
We're going to move on to the next segment of our show.
That could be a big problem.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me do this again. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the new segment of our show. First time we've done this. It's called In My Opinion, which means we're going to give you the opportunity to phone up the normal number 0203 606 0315. But we are now talking about a different subject from the England game. We're going to move on, and we're talking about two of the world's greatest ever football players from different generations of the game, absolutely no doubt. But we want to debate who is the best player between Zinedine Zidane and Michel Platini. These two have got their opinions that we're going to go to in just a moment. We're going to put this up on the screen right now, if Jay can do this for us, a Twitter poll running on my personal Twitter account, at Terry Fleurs TFT. Big debate. Who was the better football player, Zinedine Zidane or Michel Platini? Please retweet it and give it a little vote as well. Currently, you'll see 90% of the voters have gone for Zinedine Zidane.
How many votes we had as well?
So 875 votes. We want to get that over. We'll get that over a couple of thousand by the end of this show. Only 10% saying Platini, but we're going to speak to these two gentlemen now about that. 5 minutes talking to these two, and then we're going to take your calls and debate this. And before we debate, get your calls on as well. I'm going to release a few statistical bits of information about both these players that may change your mind, because I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of the people voting for Zidane have maybe never seen Platini play and are not thinking of the player, they're thinking more of the man since. But I'm going to go to Louis first of all. If you were to think about those two players, their records in world and European football, who would you say, in a couple of sentences for us, who is the best of the two and why?
Well, before you told me the stats earlier, I would have gone hands down on Zinedine Zidane, but that's mainly for me, it's a generational thing. I also think Zinedine Zidane overall, what he brought to the game, I thought he was a much more rounded player. You know, he could, even though he's playing at number 10, he could drop back, play central midfield as well. He could play any role. He was a linchpin for a French side, for a Real Madrid side. He's renowned for that goal in the Champions League against Bayer Leverkusen and the stuff he's pulled off. And then obviously another reason for me is again the man since in Michel Platini and how much of a snake he is in terms of FIFA and UEFA, in my opinion.
But is that clad in your judgment on that?
This is the point I'm trying to make.
Oh.
So until Terry told me these statistics, which I think people should hear now, I'm not so sure on why I would definitely go hands down Zizou. But these statistics are massive.
Let's speak to Claude first. Claude, obviously you were born in the early 60s, so you would have watched the entire career of Michel Platini throughout the 70s into the late 80s. Who would you, if you were to vote for, you've only got a chance to vote for one, who would you go for as the better of the two?
I would go Platini. I think his record proves it to me. It's much. Remember in them days as well, you could there was more contact.
You used to get kicked up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. You had to ride a few tackles. I thought he was a wonderful player at that time. I don't think there was any in that era. You had coming into the 80s as well. He was superb. Zidane's a great player as well. Don't get me wrong, but for me, I would go with Michel Platini. I think a lot of these people, might have been what clouds their judgment as well. A lot of them probably didn't watch Platini play, which is understandable. Might have an audience there about like Louis. I mean, Louis is still a lot younger than I am. You didn't see him play, did you?
Of course I didn't see him play, no.
Exactly.
I've seen game reels.
Yeah, but even you're only 9 when Zidane retired.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I was not.
You didn't see him.
2006.
2006, I remember that final. Very vividly.
And I think a lot of people are judging by what's happened after his playing career as well. I think that comes into
Let's just say one thing to everyone tuning in. What this isn't is, you get this a lot with the Messi-Ronaldo debate. None of us are saying either was a trash or a bad player or a fraud or nothing like that. They were both truly world-class players. We're just debating who was best. If you do phone up, I am going to ask you the question why a lot. I want you to explain why so-and-so is better. But let me give you some statistical breakdown of the two to maybe change your viewpoint slightly. So Zinedine Zidane played 506 club games and scored 95 goals as an attacking midfield player. Platini played 432 games and scored 224 goals, which is, he destroys him in that area.
What about assists?
The problem with assists is that the assist stats weren't, even for the early stage of Zidane's career and the entire Platini career, there wasn't assist stats kept.
Okay.
So it's impossible for us to know unless you go back and watch every game they ever played in. There might be a website out that does that, but we couldn't source that information because stats like that have only been recent.
I don't go too much on assists because with an assist, right, you could pass the ball about 20 yards out, and the bloke has a shot from 20 yards, and it's called an assist.
And that's where it's all again. There are people getting more assists now, but that's because more can be attributed to assists. So we haven't put them in. Internationally, 108 caps for France for Zidane, 31 goals. That's a really good return. Platini, 72 caps, 41 goals as a midfield player. Now, attacking midfield player, same position they both played. Now, you've got to remember as well, Platini career was cut short due to injury. When he was playing, the medical assistance wasn't as good as it is now. 13 club trophies for Zidane, 10 for Platini. 2 international trophies, a World Cup and a Euros for Zidane. 1 Euros for Platini. 1 Ballon d'Or for Zinedine Zidane. 3 Ballon d'Ors on the trot for Platini. And in those years that he won won that as an attacking midfielder. Think about how good Lampard was at scoring goals. Yeah. In the 3 years that Platini won the World Player of the Year, the Ballon d'Or, 28, 25, 29 goals. Exactly. As a midfield player. I mean, that's like unprecedented levels.
Where was he? Was it Juventus at that time as well?
Yes, all 3 of those when he was playing at Juventus. Okay. So look, I'm not giving my opinion on this. I'm hosting this conversation. If you want, is any calls ready? Yeah, cool. We've got a call ready to debate this now. We're going to listen. We want to know what you guys have got to say on this. But if you don't want to call in, you can leave comments. Oh, that didn't come through properly. If you do want to don't want to call in and have the debate, please leave us your comments below. And when the videos re-upload, leave your comments on there again, because we'd love to know your viewpoints and opinions. But do explain to us why.
Terry, what are you doing?
It's not coming through properly, mate.
Terry's hanging up on you. I'm really sorry. Doesn't like people.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hi, it's Mo.
Hello, Mo?
Yeah, it's Mo.
Hello, Mo. Yeah, could you do me a favour and turn down your device, please, that you're watching the show on?
Okay, one sec. I'll mute it.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Look at yourself, Terry.
Hello?
Yes, hello, mate. What would you like to say about the Zidane and the Platini debate?
The Zidane-Platini debate is a bit more interesting than the England-Italy game that I just watched now. But I'd say, for me, I'm not old enough to have seen Platini play, but I grew up watching Zidane. And the thing that struck me about Zidane, okay, statistically, obviously, he can't really compare to Platini. However, when you look at the influence he's had, I mean, Zidane, okay, the first team that won the World Cup in '98, it was one of the first World Cups where I actually saw, and I watched the '94 World Cup, but the '98 was the one that really stuck in my head. And when you look at that team, yeah, he had a great team. The French national team was really good, but you can't compare it to that Brazilian national team in terms of not just players, but their experience. I mean, Brazil has won the World Cup many times, and it has been way more successful than France. Then he got them the Euros in 2000. After that,
yeah.
After his move to Madrid, and then he managed to get, let's be honest, a fairly average French national side to the final in 2006. And if it weren't for Materazzi, they would have probably won it or had a good chance.
Can I ask
look at the player more on his influence rather than his statistics.
Can I ask you this question? And I'm actually glad you've said that within this debate, because I'm not actually saying that Messi and Ronaldo haven't been the best 2 players in football over the last 10 years or so. The year that Zidane won his Ballon d'Or, he only scored 11 goals. Do you think the days are now gone in football where we stop focusing, where all we focus on, where we don't focus, on the statistical return? Because Zidane wasn't a great goal scorer. He wasn't a man who, Arsenal fans do it with Ozil. City fans this year are doing it with Kevin De Bruyne, where they just focus on the statistical outputs. Yeah. As you say, rather than the touch, what you see with your eye, the influence on a game, which sometimes these players are kind of missing. So I love the fact you brought that into the debate. What do you think, Louis, about what this guy said?
Arsenal fans that think Ozil is better than Zidane.
No way. Do they really? Arsenal fans?
Are you being serious? Claude, no,
have you met Arsenal fans who think that?
Look me in the eye and tell me.
Yes, mate, there are on Twitter, mate, as if there's Arsenal fans that actually think that Ozil is better than Zidane.
My God.
Well, I think what this guy's saying...
Not even close. When I sing that song, I sing it sarcastically.
I know, we all do, actually. We all do. But there are...
Great player.
We all do.
Ozil, but I mean, he's not... No one has
No.
Since Zidane retired, I'd say the only player who's been close enough is Andreas Iniesta.
Now
that's completely different players.
We all do it sarcastically, but there are still people on Twitter that actually believe that Ozil is better than Zidane.
Yeah, and there are still people on Twitter that think Wenger is a great manager for us right now.
We're going to start going off subject here.
No, but
Mate,
yeah, I mean,
sorry, really do appreciate your call. Thank you very,
Cheers,
very
mate.
much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
What he's talking about in terms of saying with the whole influence game, we were talking about it beforehand. So, you know, what were the teams that they had around him? And Platini did have a worse team, I guess, technically.
Yes, he did.
So I think Platini, if you're talking about that, I think he could shade it in terms of what he's done with the French national team. The Juventus team he had around him, again, was good, but it wasn't AC Milan, Inter Milan.
The great debate would have been if they were playing at the same time. So you know what you've got now with France? You've literally got this situation where you've got...
They're playing on carpets now, aren't they?
Yeah, but yeah, of course. The pitches are... Well, Zidane did start playing in 1989.
Yeah, but then
So
the pitches not as
No, I
good
get
as
that,
now.
but the real... You'd have known... I'd love to have seen them both playing at the same time because only one could have got put into that attacking midfield role because you can't fit two into it.
Was that one to drop deeper?
Yeah, but he could have done. He could have done. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Max.
Hello, Max. Who do you support?
Well, I support Arsenal.
Good.
Finally.
Good. And what's your views on the Zidane versus Platini debate?
To be fair, as you can see from my voice, probably I'm quite young, so I haven't managed quite to see Platini play, but I have managed to see some of Zidane's play, and I'll tell you what, he was fantastic. He was incredible.
Yeah, I'm not
Probably
doubting
one
that.
of the best players I've seen play. And look, he could do everything, right? He could pass, he could shoot, he could dribble. I mean, I'm not sure about Platini, but obviously, I don't think he had quite the.
You can't say that. You haven't.
Of Zidane.
You can't say
So
that because
I'd
you haven't
say-
seen him play. You said.
I haven't seen him play, but I don't know. Zidane was just too good.
Listen, mate,
I
I'm
just
on
can't
your
imagine
side of the
anyone
argument.
being.
I'm on your side of the argument, but you can't focus an argument if you haven't seen the other one play.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't make
I
an
know
argument
that-
for
I
it.
know that. But what I'm saying is that judging of Zidane's performances, and
Okay.
I know that like YouTube clips don't give me a fair judgment, but
Can I
what
ask
I'm
you a
saying
question?
is that I've seen Zidane play, and there was no one who could come close to him in terms of all-roundedness.
Well, see, that's again. This is the thing with history. What I would say to you, just on the statistics, which we've clearly said are not the be-all and end-all, just on the statistics that I read out about Platini, were you surprised of how good a player he was? Just off those statistics.
Yes, I was, but again, you have to remember there was different times. Like you saw, all right, Pele, he was on a different level as well. But if you look at the amount of goals that were scored in a game at that time, it wasn't anything near that it is now. A lot less goals are scored now, and you have to take that into account. So obviously they played in different periods, and in the period that Zidane played, a lot less goals were scored. So I don't think that's a fair judgment just to look at the amount
Between
of
the
goals that
difference,
they've scored.
You got
Especially
kicked
it
up
wasn't
in the
just
air,
their main
mate.
role.
Years ago, you got kicked up in the air and you had to ride through hard tackles. Not now. It's a no contact now. It's a
Exactly,
different.
so it's different games. It's like
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. You can't say it's.
a player.
Claude, he's agreeing with you. He's saying it's different times.
It's like, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, I am agreeing with you. So it's basically like comparing, I don't know, an ice hockey player with a football player. It doesn't make sense. But what I'm saying is that I have watched Zidane play, and I'm going to tell you that he was incredible. So again, I told you, yes, my opinion is not fair, but look, neither is yours. I mean, obviously, Claude,
yeah. Do you
you're fucking
think?
dying, so
Do you
have seen
think?
him play, obviously, but these other two guys, I'm sorry I don't know your names, but you probably haven't seen him play either, right? So you can't really criticize me for not watching him play.
I've watched videos. I've actually taken my time to watch videos of him, so I have seen him play.
No, so videos of him, so like YouTube clips.
So yeah, so that's still seeing him play, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've done that too.
No. You said you haven't watched Platini play. That's what you
No, I
said.
haven't watched him play as in like live. I haven't watched his games. I haven't watched his YouTube clips, obviously.
You have or you haven't?
They don't give you a good judgment, notoriously.
You can't judge YouTube, mate.
No, you can't judge.
I'm
not saying solely. I'm not saying solely
I
on
judged
YouTube. I'm not.
Shamak on YouTube, and look what happened to him.
No, I'm not saying solely on YouTube. I'm talking about other stuff as well.
Yeah.
You see that, you've watched YouTube clips, you've spoken to people. I've spoken to you, I've spoken to my dad, I've spoken to many people about Platini, Zidane, all these players, which were, let's be honest, I was born in
Okay, so you're saying
'97.
that
So,
you
you said
sorry,
your
I'm
bit,
sorry.
mate. Let me finish and let me answer your question, all right? All in, you build an argument around what you hear and what you understand from having those conversations with people.
Okay.
It's not solely on YouTube. So it's a case of, for example, when people talk about Belotti now, Belotti is rubbish. You look at his YouTube clips, it's not all. He's only had one good season. However, if you're looking at this as well and talking about Michel Platini, Zinedine Zidane, both of them are superb players. I analyse the arguments on what I've seen of these players and what I've heard about these players, and you bring it together and you formulate your own opinion. You can't. This is what I mean.
Come on, basing your opinion off other people's opinions.
That's how opinions are formulated, mate. That's how opinions are formulated.
Thank you very much for your call. We've got one more caller to get on the line before the end, mate. Thank you for your opinions. They are very valuable to us. Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
for accepting my call.
So not a problem, mate. Not a problem. Interestingly, we're going to throw this just a quick little bit out there. Spain have just finished and beaten Argentina 6-1.
Who was in the Argentina squad?
Messi was in the stadium, to be fair, but
Messi was in the stadium.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing though.
Yeah, he's in the stand. There's video footage of him walking out, and then he walked out when they went 6-1 down. He didn't stay. There's footage trending on the internet right now. We're going to take one more call on the Zidane. Well, I'd love to have someone on Platini's side here.
Mate, not a problem.
Hello?
Excuse me. Yeah, hello, mate. Could you do me a favour and turn your device down, please?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Thank you. What's your name?
My name's Taha, Taha, yeah.
Hello, mate. How you doing? Who do you support?
I actually support Liverpool, by the way, but I just want to ask, you can't, Gerrard and, like, Platini and Zidane, yeah, you could just, another debate could be Gerrard and Scholes. Gerrard, I love Gerrard, he was probably my idol, but Scholes was a better player. I hated Scholes, but Scholes was a better player, but Gerrard had better statistics. Platini had better statistics, but I think Zidane was a better player. Do you agree with me?
I'll ask you, Louis. What do you think of that guy's analogy there?
Again, it comes down to influence and not just statistics. I could see where he's coming from, and I personally think it's a completely valid argument. Again, like I'm saying, I'm still sat on the fence now. I mean, I've taken everything into account.
Hold on, can I ask you a question? Are you judging? Are we all judging Scholes as a better player than Gerrard because of what they won in their careers?
Can I also ask why Lampard?
No. But Scholes.
Yeah,
I love Gerrard. He's probably my idol. But Scholes, mate, he was just another level.
Can I ask you something I feel with this? And I had this thought a little while ago whenever it's debating Harry Kane, we'll be debating Ronaldo and Messi, Scholes, Gerrard, whoever it may be. Sometimes I think we get there's bias in terms of who we love the most. Sometimes comes into it. I think the biggest issue that we sometimes have is who do we prefer to watch. So I no longer debate who's better between Messi and Ronaldo. I find it a little bit pointless. My view is I prefer watching Ronaldo. It's like when I watch strikers play, I love the way Harry Kane operates as a player. I love his movement, his body shape. I like the way he looks when he kicks the ball. It sounds weird. I just like the way he presents himself as a footballer, say, compared to Aguero. So I actually sometimes feel in these debates, forget the stats, forget what they've won, who do they just prefer to watch? And I look at I
prefer to watch Messi. Funny enough,
but
I think you prefer Ronaldo because you played with him.
No, do you know what it is with Ronaldo? Ronaldo is for me, as an example, and that's going slightly off topic. I like his directness. I like his attitude. I actually like the way he's petulant on the pitch. The same way that I used to love Thierry Henry's arrogance on the pitch. Sometimes it's not even about the football. It's about the sort of the atmosphere and the mood and the aura that they bring with them to the game.
Yeah, for me, who do you think's a better player then? Platini or Zidane, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the better football player, I would go with Zidane myself in terms of what he. When I watch, and I've watched about 4 or 5 full games of Platini and lots of footage of him. Yeah. Tremendous, world-class talent. What Zidane does, and my dad taught me this when I was very young about football. If somebody looks like they've got an hour to play a pass, if they look like they've got all the time in the world to do it, they are special. And I felt that way with Zidane. I felt that way whenever I watched Paul Scholes play. They get the ball, and it's as if they've got an hour to make their mind up. They've only got a split second, but they make it look like it's effortless and timeless. And that's what stands out for me. And again, I throw all the stats out there. I throw a few curveballs in.
Dennis Bergkamp as well.
Dennis Bergkamp, Matt Letizia. My favourite Man United player for years was Teddy Sheringham. He weren't on the same level as those guys, but he could do it. It was effortless to these people, and that's beauty. You can't quantify that with stats. You can't quantify that with Twitter followers, popularity, or how many pants you sell. That for me is the beauty of football, which is becoming lost now in the modern game. I think.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, of course you can ask a question.
For Claude and Louis, do you think Liverpool win the Champions League?
That's a good question. I actually believe they've got a great chance. If they beat Man City, I think they can win it. Yeah.
Barcelona are the favourites still.
No, not for me. For me, I've watched Barcelona. I saw them against Chelsea. Forget Barcelona. It's for me. I think whoever wins this game between Liverpool and Man City have got a very big chance of winning it.
So who do you think, Claude? In your opinion, just like give an edge. Give me an edge. Who do you think will win?
If your goalkeeper plays okay over the two legs, I think you can do it. I really believe you can do it. It's up to you. Your goalkeeper's going to have to play at his best, you know what I mean?
Completely agree.
Yeah, I agree. What about Louis and the other guy? I forgot the other guy's name.
Terry. I don't know. I don't think Liverpool will win the Champions League. If they beat Man City, who knows what will happen. But I do think, Liverpool. If again, this is the opportunity in the season for Liverpool to grow back into the Champions League. Jurgen Klopp is a superb manager. He's the right fit for the club. We'll just have to see how it all develops, really.
Yeah. Mate,
Claude, sorry. If you sack Wenger, well, not you, but if you sack Wenger, if Arsenal sack Wenger, if you get Allegri in, you'll win the league next season. I promise you that.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think there's a lot more work to be done than that. I don't think that's going to be just happening overnight just because we do that. There's a lot of work to be done. I think it's about a 2 or 3 year job with Arsenal.
Mate, really appreciate that call. Some great points and great questions in there as well. Just going to go back to the poll before we wrap up this evening's show, ladies and gentlemen. Now over 2,600 votes. 91% voting for Zinedine Zidane. But I want to go through some of the comments. If you haven't voted yet, give it a go. By the way, if you haven't yet, just give me a little follow as well as I'm up on the screen right now.
And me as
Cheers,
well.
all the boys are there. Claude's Twitter's in there, Louis' Twitter's in there, and of course the Ultimate Football fans as well. Give them all a massive follow. Gonna go to some of the comments here. We've got Goonerette TV says shouldn't even be a debate, Terry. I would disagree because I wanted to debate these two for the reason I put out earlier. That I think football fans need to look beyond stats, and it's about more than that. Look, Platini's stats are amazing.
How old is Goonerette TV?
I don't know how old she is. I think she's like in her late. I think she's not young. Not. I might offend her now. She's not like a 12-year-old.
I think she's about 25, 26, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she's not a kid.
Well, she hasn't seen Platini.
Well, this is my next point. My dad then tweets here at Duke's Entertainment. That's my dad. I'll put his tweet up. It says, "I wonder how many who voted actually saw both play."
Yeah,
and that's a great point my dad makes there, and I make him right in that. And that's what I said. I've watched both play. I go for Zidane, and I'm not basing it on stats of either.
This is what I mean.
So I don't know. I don't know. Dad, write us another message back and let me know you voted for. Let's go to a few more things. Zidane, he won a World Cup with a thumbs up. Yeah, but Messi hasn't won a World Cup, and nor's Ronaldo, and they're the two greatest players of all time. And do you know why I say they are? Because do you know what's great about Messi and Ronaldo collectively? They had that same beauty and influence on the game that the likes of Zidane did. But then their stats smash everything. They've got both. They've just done both.
Stefan Giebach has won the World Cup, but that doesn't.
Exactly. The whole debate around that's a completely different.
Yeah, but this shows another thing. Marco here says, "Is this seriously even a question? Who led France to World Cup and European glory? Wasn't Platini? Well, he led them to European glory. Yeah. So he actually won an international trophy, and he scored 10 goals in that competition in 1984. So again, what I have to go back and say to people is, don't just look at this as Zidane because I love him. Go and do your research. Go and watch the man. As soon as I knew this debate was happening,
was in that semi-final against the I think it was against the Germans when they played the Germans. That team could have gone on to win the world. The '86, they had a fantastic team. When the goalkeeper, I don't know how he's got away with the biggest assault ever.
And those are the history.
How he got away with that.
And
Battiston went off the pitch. We had 4 missing teeth, broken cheek.
And that's the history that sometimes if you're not around when it was on, you won't remember those little intricacies. And that can when you just base it on trophies someone's won or the goals they scored, you're not considering the team they played in, the era they played in. I'm looking at it from their physical footballing ability. I would go for Zidane over the stats. Although when you get, and that's why I love Messi and Ronaldo so much, because they've got that aura and that ability to lead a team in the same way that Zidane did, but they've also got twice as good a stats as Platini as well.
To me, the whole question, you cannot say Messi's the greatest of all time because he hasn't had that influence in international tournaments.
Terry, you've seen that incident.
Maybe.
Don't you think he should have been sent off that?
That, he should have gone to prison.
Yeah.
It was that bad on the soft.
You just saw it, just a clatter like that.
There we go.
We bounced off each other.
But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate you tuning in to FanPark Live as ever, whatever platform you've been on tonight, whether you've been on Arsenal Fan TV, the Ultimate Football Fan, 100% Chelsea, my channel, The Football Terrace. We really do appreciate it. Please download the OneFootball app. All the information for that is in the description below. It's an amazing app for all your news and all your statistics. All the statistics we bring for you come from the app, so go and check it out. And if you haven't done so already...
Before we go, can I ask Louis, what do you fancy Sunday? Chelsea Spurs. Big game.
We're going to lose that game.
Hey?
We're going to lose.
I just so want Chelsea to get back in top 4 to knock out Liverpool or Spurs.
We won't.
Please do it.
We will
please do it.
Here's another stat for you, all right? Okay. If we lose that game, that'll be the first time Spurs have beaten Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in 29 years.
Since 89, isn't it?
How old are you?
I'm 20.
20. It's 9 years.
9 years before I was born.
Gary Lineker, wasn't it? Scored the winning goal, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I was only 3. I don't even remember that.
1989, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was 4. I was 4 then. Listen, everyone who tuned in, thank you so much. Download the Ultimate Football Fan app as well. Get that done. Claude, thank you very much for coming on again as ever. Louis as well. It's nice to have you here with us. He ate my kebab.
Hang on.
He ate my kebab.
I ate some of your kebab, didn't it? So did Claude, to be fair.
I gave
you
it
got
to him.
too much.
I did. I bought far too much
By the way,
food.
Louis, you're going to have to enjoy the Europa League next year.
I'm looking forward to trips to Romania. Lewis is in there. He said he's already not going there. He doesn't feel welcome. That's what he said.
Listen, everyone take care. God bless. Look after yourselves. And we'll see you all again. We're back. Premier League football's back at the weekend. Cannot wait.
For that.
Because it's been really, really boring. So boring. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.